Welcome to Justified Riches podcast. Justified Riches is a financial literacy podcast dedicated to empowering individuals with the knowledge and tools to achieve financial independence and professional success. Each episode bridges the gap between ambition and achievement by bringing together a seasoned mentor and an eager mentee for transformative conversations.
Frederick Douglass once said, "It's easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." And our mission here at Justified Riches is to create a stronger generation of youth through financial literacy.
I'm your host, Rizz Farris, aka Positivity Pusher.
And I'm the other host, Justin, aka Stock Knock Life.
And together we hope that you enjoy the show, take notes, and sit down and relax.
Enjoy the episode.
All right, and we are here for episode 4 of Justified Riches. Episode 4, impromptu, collaborative. We've got a special guest, special setting over here. But again, Justified Riches podcast is about connecting mentors and mentees on topics like financial literacy. Today, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. So it's, again, my name is Rizz Tavares, a.k.a. Positivity Pusher. It's my pleasure to actually have here as well owner of Nam Media, co-owner of Nam Studios. We have Theo Maslon. He is our guest today. He didn't have to travel very far, but just a quick impromptu bio about Theo. There are things like kindness, things like humanity, things like taking action, and some of the things you'll find in Theo's background as we speak to him. He's a man of action. He doesn't sit idle, and most importantly, he's a man of the community. He's really about helping out through Nam Studios and Nam Media. It's about helping not-for-profits to have a voice. I could go on and on, but this is going to be an abbreviated episode, so please, it's my pleasure to introduce Theo, who you'll get to meet, and kicking it off to my co-host, Justin.
Yes, how you doing? I'm Justin, a.k.a. Stock Knock Life, and we're going to have a good show this afternoon. And I have the pleasure of sitting here with one of my students, Isaiah. Isaiah, introduce yourself. Please let them know where you're from, what school you go to.
My name is Isaiah Strong. I attend Eagle Academy for Young Men, too, at Brooklyn, New York. And I'm in the 10th grade taking a business and finance class.
Right. So what's cool about Isaiah, he's actually one of my current students in the business and finance class. And, you know, he's doing very well the first marking period. So I'm glad he's able to actually sit in on the show. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. We are super excited, and based on our time, we'll kick it off right away. So we have Theo here. Theo, please, not that you need an introduction. I know it's going to sound kind of funny to introduce yourself, but please introduce yourself to our podcast audience.
You said everything. I'm Theo. I am the owner, operator of Nam Media, a creative strategic creative marketing agency, and co-owner of Nam Studios. We do everything from marketing consulting, all the way to small and large video production.
Excellent. Thank you, Theo. And today's topic is entrepreneurship. So we're going to just jump right into it. Imagine now we're going to go back and you're in 10th grade and you're wondering what you're going to do with the rest of your life. What's maybe a piece of advice or two you would give to your 10th grade self based on either making money or on aspirations or knowing what you want to do with your life?
Network and internships.
Excellent.
I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any start networking as early as possible and do internships, quarterly semester internships, travel for those internships if you can. But internships and definitely networking is definitely something I'll tell myself in the 10th grade.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just for our audience, what exactly is networking? If you had to sum it up maybe into a sentence or two.
Just going out there, meeting new people, finding out what they do, connecting with new people. I mean, in high school and college, you do a lot of networking, actually, hanging out with friends, you go into parties, you going to different things. You find yourself, we're in New York, so you find yourself all over the city, doing your thing. But networking with intention and the business focused mind is definitely something that I wish I learned way earlier.
Absolutely, that is a good point.
I like to always give my kudos to the person like who's worked the 9 to 5 and then went full time into their own business.
Yeah.
So just briefly, if you could tell us like that experience, like going from a 9 to 5. I know you used to be in the electrical field and then switching over to running your own company.
Very fulfilling, but it also did suck. Because, with the 9 to 5, you have that cushion. You have that security of knowing where your paycheck and everything is, and then you choose to be up early or go to sleep late to like work on your business. When you move from that 9 to 5 to your own business, a lot of people tell you, make sure you have this much saved up, make sure you're at this point. But, can you really be good at something that you don't give 100% of your time to? When you're on a basketball team, if you're on a football team, like you practice in the morning, you got your 2-a-days, 3-a-days, you balling in the park, like you're doing all that stuff and you're going to school, right? So, it kind of switches. Like, when you have a 9 to 5, that's where you're 9 to 5 a majority of the time. Sometimes people don't see their families as much as they see their coworkers, right. So if you can build up that nest egg. I didn't build up that nest egg. So it's a grind, but like having that time limit on your ass, or having that thing behind you saying like, if this doesn't work, like I'm done, I hit rock bottom, like gets you to like turn up the heat a little bit and figure things out when, all seems hopeless.
Right. So, Isaiah, what's your plans after high school?
My plans is to go to college, major in astrophysics, and be a football player. I really like football. I'm good at it. However, if that doesn't work out, I know I can also always rely on my grades, and I've always wanted to be a scientist. However, like when I'm in college, I know that the process isn't always like, okay, you're gonna always like be spat out into the like being an astrophysicist, getting that $100,000 a year. So it's like I want to be able to have a stable income while I'm in college, or like in that like downtime of not having any jobs or anything. That's why I'm interested in like stocks and like ways of like making money and things of that nature.
Wow, astrophysicist. I don't even know if I could pronunciate that.
Right.
I know you had a question for Theo.
Yeah, in terms of like entrepreneurship, I know you mentioned like networking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering like what like steps you have to take to like have, or how did the people around you affect your outcome and where you're at now?
The people around me had a really, really big effect on where I am right now. I mean, in terms of networking, the people you surround yourself are the people that you're going to emulate, right? So if you surround yourself with successful people, you're going to hopefully lead yourself down that path. And, networking could be meeting someone on your level, meeting someone who's behind you, or meeting someone who's in front of you. So networking helped me meet mentors, helped me meet partners, and helped me meet like the next generation of like, this kid is going to be something. Like I want to keep in touch with this kid because he might be valuable to my team, or valuable in any way, shape, or form later down in life. So, networking, getting out there, how I first got out there. Honestly, Eventbrite. Go on Eventbrite, put in networking. There's a lot of free networking events all the time around the city, depending on, the industry you're in. And just the scariest thing is just showing up, because you don't know anybody. Showing up and talking to people. I kind of do it and say, like, I know you're on TikTok. So, sometimes on TikTok or social media, I come across those videos of those guys just rizzing up chicks in the mall for no reason. That's the exact same thing as networking. You just got to go up to somebody and be like, hey, what's up? My name is Theo. What do you do? Like, it doesn't matter. It's the exact same thing. Just breaking out your shell and just talking to people cold. And, you don't know what one person could change your life.
Right. He was just talking about his aura too,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to explain to the older audience out there. I know Theo mentioned Rizz, We got Rizz and Aura.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
what that means.
All right. So Rizz is like, back in whatever day y'all come from. Rizz is like game. So it's like, let's say you're me rizzing up a girl that's like me having game, or like you got game, and you got a way of talking to girls. And aura is like, it's like your presence. Like, oh, he's cool. He has aura. Like, oh, you got have bad aura. It's like you the opposite of being cool. But me, I feel like I have like a medium aura type like.
Medium aura. That's funny.
Yeah. Or I'm in a high.
Theo, Rich learned a new word earlier. We was having we was eating pizza. He said no cap. So the kids let him know there's the upgrade to no cap.
What's the upgrade to no
Go ahead,
cap?
Rich.
Oh yeah, it's instead of no cap, it's merch.
Yeah.
Merch.
Angelina, from the is that a valid thumbs up, thumbs down?
Merch? What is that? I'm guessing that's like, you bought it, store bought. This is
No, merch is like no cap, right?
Yeah,
like so, like real deal. Like this is the truth. Like merch.
okay.
It's typical like New York. Like if you go to New York City and like kids, you hear merch a lot.
Okay.
Merch.
I didn't know merch.
Shaq, you know where that derived from? Merch. That might be Chicago. Okay.
Oh, that's fire right there.
Okay.
All right. So we're learning.
Now
So
we learn.
We're teaching and we're learning at the same time.
I like that, Rizz.
See? That's why you network.
So true. So yeah, Risen is definitely Rizz. Sorry, I don't want to jack up the word. Angelina's always helping me not to do that. But really in business, like Theo said, you really want to do that. How do you Rizz in business is you want to kind of have in your mind a sentence or two about what you do or about, what you're about. And then also too is finding ways to like start conversations, easy way too is just kind of like going up to someone, giving them a compliment on a shirt. I'm famous for that, where if I see someone, they got a nice tie or they got like, nice shirt, something like that, I'm first one to be like, hey, how you doing? And our friend that me and Theo know, Adam Holzer, who's owner of Huga Business Community, he's famous for that. If you're wearing something nice, boy, girl, he'll go up to you and say, hey, really nice outfit. And he's like started a lot of friendships like that. So the networking is definitely...
Yeah. And then I think we should get into the internships too. I mean,
yeah.
One thing I didn't do in college is any internships, right? I feel like it's a little bit of where we come from as people of color as well. It's like, if you're not getting paid for it, like why wouldn't I want to do it? Like why would I want to do it, right? But then again, paid internships, I think it's illegal right now. I don't know if it is illegal, but they're frowned upon. At least that's as far as I know. But taking internships, being able to work or experience for a semester or a couple of weeks or for how long the internship is, something in an industry that you know nothing of, or it might be in an industry that you want to get in, is really important. That way you kind of know what you want to do. I mean, the best way to learn is just get yourself into whatever you're doing. So you said you want to be an astrophysicist. I'm sure there are internships. I don't know if you know this, but Long Island is one of the biggest manufacturing hubs in the world, or in the U.S. at least. So there are plenty of science labs here. I don't know if, actually, we did a video for a place called East West Industries. East West Industries manufactures life-saving device seats for planes and military planes as well. I don't know if that's in the astrophysicist world, but that's a place you might want to intern for a semester. Just think outside the box like that.
Yeah.
Good point. So what is astrophysics? Astrophysics. I feel like...
So, the physicist is like the scientist.
Yep.
It's like study like laws of physics, object in motion stays in motion. It's like that, but applying it to like space. So if you learn like the reason we have like object in motion stays in motion is because like an example of that in space is like in space, if let's say like we're in space and there's no like lining connecting us, right? And I bump you, you'll just be going in the direction I bumped you in for eternity because there's no gravity. So you're an object that stays in motion unless acted upon by another force. Now, if you pass along another planet, that planet's gravity might pull you closer to that. But if not, you'll just be drifting in the direction. So that's just an example, and it's like I feel like it's very cool because it's like you won't know these type of things, and it's like I feel like in the future we'll be really relying on like doctors and like scientists to like really like guide us forward, especially with the new AI type stuff. So it's like I feel like it's good that we know this on our own rather than like the AI telling us this type of thing. So yeah.
What class you taking, man? Where you learning this at?
To be honest, not gonna lie, like when I was younger, I used to watch like a lot of TV shows. So it's like that's when it really like started on me, and like low key when I'm like up at night, I be going on like I should be researching this type of stuff, and like Bill Nye, that's the guy.
Bill Nye.
Yeah.
Like I used to like Bill Nye, and I used to find myself enjoying all like the science shows. I'm like, let me look into this, and like I like the Avengers. There's a movie called Interstellar. And it touches.
Interstellar is my top movie.
Yeah.
Interstellar is dope. Yeah, it's on Netflix right now.
That's a must watch.
Yes.
I think they're about to take it off Netflix and watch Interstellar.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see that.
movie.
Still like 3 hours, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, they combine sci-fi with like actual knowledge, and like it's like really good. And I feel like this could like that could also relate to like the stock market, because let's say we find a new breakthrough in like a certain company, like let's say is SpaceX on like the stock market.
They used to be.
I don't know if SpaceX
I think they may be private, but
I
it's
think it's
owned by
private.
Or like NASA
Tesla.
or something like that.
NASA is a federal company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
he
like
used SpaceX though.
But like companies like that, like if they make a breakthrough before NASA or something like that, people are gonna want to invest in there more, or like trust in them more. So it's like you could like make money through that type of thing, and yeah, you know what to do with your money, and also like this leading to another question I have, like, does politics like affect your guys' like job as like people who really like prioritize money? Like, does the value of certain things depending on who gets like elected change because of like their beliefs, and like how does that affect your path?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. That's a good
No, I just said absolutely. It absolutely does affect. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Sorry, you do.
I mean, yeah, who you do elect, what they're doing in office definitely does affect it. I mean, one thing that personally affected me in the past couple of months that kind of shows what's going on is that a lot of our contracts or a lot of things we do for nonprofits, right? Nonprofits sometimes gets their funding from the federal government, right? We were working with a nonprofit to redo their website, right? They had a huge website. It's a 30, 40-page website. It was, thousands of dollars in the double digits, five figures, I would say. And we were ready to sign a contract that got put on pause because, whoever got in office just signed a bunch of executive documents, and they stopped funding for, federal funding for a lot of industries. They stopped the DEI initiatives, all that stuff. So in turn, that trickled down to nonprofits not knowing where their funding is coming from, so putting everything on a spending freeze. So that personally affected me in terms of not getting that contract, or at least that contract being on pause for now till things like settle down. They know where they're getting their funding from and everything. So who you do vote for, it affects the stock market. Like, when our current president got elected and he won the election back in November, the stock market went up, right? But the past like 3 months, with all the Doge executive orders, things, Department of Education, the stock market's like almost at it's not, I would say, all-time low, is dropping currently. So that directly can affect you. Yeah.
Yeah, what I learned about being in the stock market for a while is that uncertainty. So uncertainty is no good. So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty going on based on tariffs and certain policies. So when there's uncertainty in the stock market, the big businesses, the big hedge funds will pull their money out and place it somewhere safer. So when it comes like to the stock market, uncertainty is no good. And right now we're in a kind of a period of uncertainty.
Very true. And speaking of uncertainty, tying it back, Isaiah sat through a Jovia Financial Credit Union financial literacy lesson, a mini one on budgeting, right? And one of the things is budgeting. In budgeting is savings, and budgeting and savings is so important, like these gentlemen spoke of, because you want to make sure, as a business owner, I'm sure Theo can tell you about this. That you have as much control as possible. Like, of course, we're going to be affected by economies and presidents, but when we are saving, when we do have a budget, have a backup plan, that can help you bounce back or be able to continue. Have you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump?
No, like I've seen like a lot of clips of it though. Like,
Oh, all right.
It's like, is that the one where he was like, Kirk, he's like, "Run, Forrest, run."
Yeah. Well, yeah. There was. I thought about bubblegum shrimp when, not budgeting per se, but bubblegum shrimp. They were the last fish boat standing. So kind of like also on a business sense, if you think of like bubblegum shrimp, what happened? They survived the storm. So they literally survived the storm in Forrest Gump. But budgeting can help a business owner or even a person better weather a storm when you have that. And Theo, tied it back, and you mentioned that bold move. So how is budgeting or even basic financial literacy principles important as an entrepreneur?
Because you got to know your overhead. You got to know, what you're spending your money on and how much money's coming in. You could only be successful if, you're spending less money than you're bringing in, right? So you got to learn how to budget. How much am I paying people? How much are the, overheads that I'm using, whether it's an app, software services, how much does it take to run this studio? Like, just being in here for an hour costs money, and that's everything. That's a part of that, and you just have to be able to know that so you know what to charge, how much is going into your pocket, how much you're paying your people, how much you're paying for rent, all this stuff. So all of that financial numbers is a part of everything.
And that's kind of a life rule, or I like to say like a life skill. Like Theo said, you can't spend more than you make, right? You have to know what's coming in your pockets, and you have to know what's going out. And I know in class we talked about, I said I wasn't going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Was like, I taught you the top 2 rules.
Never invest all your money into one place, and always invest 10%.
All right. So there you go, right? Always invest at least 10% of your money. So if you start young, and I think we had Matt on, I think he said the same thing. Remember?
Oh, yeah, Matt Rivera. Shout out, past guest Matt Rivera.
Right, so listen, if you start early, right, so if $1 comes in, if you put away 10 cents, right, you're saving 10%. And if you keep doing it, you won't feel it, because you've been doing it since a young age. So top 2 rules: invest 10% and never invest all your money into one investment.
And Isaiah, as we're wrapping up, we want to review some of the topics Theo mentioned. But for yourself, what was maybe 1 or 2 takeaways from the budgeting lesson that you found? You might have known all this information already, but sometimes Socrates, the ancient philosopher, he says that true learning is more remembering than learning something new. So what's maybe a lesson or 2 you want to share with your fellow students about budgeting?
I learned that like budgeting is more than you think it is, and it's like when you really sit down and think like, wow, how much money do I spend on this? How much money do I spend on that? Like for example, entertainment. We pay for a lot of entertainment. We don't even realize it sometimes in terms of like subscriptions. Like you may want to have fun a lot, especially in your younger years. You want to like, have, what I'm saying? Like go out, have fun. But it's like also, okay, I need to have my priorities straight on, okay, am I going to have enough money for food and groceries? Am I going to buy out every day and waste my food, waste the money I saved on groceries? Or like how is that supposed to balance it out? And you need to learn how to like really like, I think it's really all about balance and really learn what's more important. Like I feel like you have to make a sacrifice. Like you're gonna have to sacrifice some of your entertainment for your necessities. I feel like if you learn how to sacrifice like the good for the temporary, it's like you're gonna be further in life.
Ooh, facts. Facts.
Or
Yeah.
if you know you want something and you don't have enough money for it, you gotta work hard enough so you make that money so it covers that. Right. So
Yeah, good. Very, very, very good point. So as we're trimming down on the super abbreviated episode, this is nice, man. Quick bullet points. So Theo, our guest, he covered networking, covered his entrepreneurial journey, covered internships as well, the importance, right, of a, if you're a junior, a senior, 10th grader, looking at your future internships. And internships, Theo, right, is kind of like a form of networking also, internships. As we're fading, one thing, and I know something that I always hear you talk about, is the quality of your work and your reputation. So leaving our students with networking, how important is your reputation, like keeping your word, delivering? How is that a key ingredient of networking, and how has it served you?
That arguably is one of the most important parts. I mean, right now I'm reading a book called The 48 Laws of Power, and one of the laws, I think it's like 12, 11, don't quote me on which exact law it is, but it's in there. And one of the laws is your reputation is your lifeline, guarded with your life. Like, your reputation could take years to build up and a second to build that, to tear down. So the moment your reputation goes down, everybody's gonna hear, but everybody's gonna know you're a fraud. Everybody's gonna know you're not merch, as he said. Well, if I did that right, I don't know. Nah, he's like, nah. See, my rep just went down with him and his boys outside. They're like, nah, bro.
You lost a little bit of aura.
I just lost a little bit of aura, bro. Now, my aura's way too high, bro. My aura's way too high to lose it that quickly. But, seriously, guard your reputation with your life, because that can seriously make or break you. So your reputation is arguably one of the most important things that you need to make sure you keep no matter what.
Absolutely, and just something that pertains to aura, because aura is kind of like vibe, and like what Theo was saying, a little bit aura. I don't know. Sorry, all right, let me not get too into it. But really, if you're talking about your aura is an energy, right, that you give off. There's an amazing quote which talks about what Theo was saying about why it's important. You have to keep your word because you can't fake aura, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
You could to an extent,
Yeah,
right?
to
But
an
after a while, you'll be exposed. So there's, I always love ending with the quotes. There's this a quote by, I believe it's Ralph Waldo Emerson, that says, "Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear a word you say." So who you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear a word you say. So it makes me think about, who you are, the character you're building, like Theo was saying, keeping your word, your reputation. It's more than just for show. That's actually, I find in business, that's the aura that you really give off. Some people try to fake that, but you can't fake who you really are. And, right, we're constantly evolving, and we always have the opportunity to change ourselves and go in a different direction. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you, Theo, for bringing that up. And as far as aura, Theo, where can individuals find you, find out about the studio, which we're taping here from?
You could go to www.nomstudios.co. You could also we post a lot of our work on Instagram, _Nom Studios, N as in Nancy, O as in Oscar, M as in Mary, Studios with the S. Also, you could check out all of our work on YouTube, Nom Studios NYC. That's where you'll see a lot of our podcasts. You'll see a lot of our music work, DJ work. Like I said, we do everything from podcasting to business videos, nonprofit stuff, and even on the musical side, we do videos where you could check out, some of our singers, rappers, DJs who've been here to create content, so it's easier for them to sell themselves and everything. So
Appreciate that, and kicking it off to the professor over here, the financial professor, so you can end this off.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Theo, for like I said, impromptu joining us. Isaiah, top scholar, right? Thank you so much. Rich, of course, right? Thank you. And hopefully we see you guys for episode 5 of Justified Riches coming soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. Shouting out Eagle Boys Academy also. Field trip style right here. Appreciate it. And we're out. Thank you.